Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, presenters, are you ready to start?
Okay, we are ready, ma'am.
Okay, please do.
Okay, I will share screen first. Mr. Liga, it's your
Okay,
turn.
thank you, Ms. Zahra. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Fanny.
Morning.
We are from Group 5 from Academic Speaking for Scientific Purpose. Let me introduce myself and my partner. My name is Liga Valiansyah and my partner Zahro Salsabila. Today, we're honored to do the presentation about supporting your ideas. Next slide, please. Okay. The contents in this occasional session is the first one is introduction, the second examples, the third statistic, the fourth is testimony, and fifth is citing sources orally, and the last one is summary. Okay, let's get started. The importance of supporting your ideas is the problem with generalizations is that they don't answer the three questions listeners always ask of a speaker. The first one is, what do you mean? The second is, what should I believe you? And so what? So when you talk about something or you try to convey your ideas, you should uh, bring your examples. For this is consider the following statements. The first one is general. Deddy Mulyadi sending juvenile delinquents to military barracks. The second is less general. West Java Governor Deddy Mulyadi said military-style character education for delinquent students involving the TNI Polri has started in Purwakarta and in Bandung. The last is specific one. West Java Governor Deddy Mulyadi said military-style character education for delinquent students involving the TNI Polri has started in Purwakarta and in Bandung. In Purwakarta, 30 children. Today, here are in 30 in Bandung City, he said after leading the West Java Provincial Level National Education Day on Hardiknas rally at the Kujang Rindam 3rd on Siliwangi Field, Bandung, Friday, May 2nd, 20 and 25. Okay, consider the following statements. Which one do you prefer? Specific, less general, or general? If you try to convey the information, you should attach the specific one, because if you attach the information less general or general, at the before slide we talk about the audience is said, what are you talking about? Or the audience didn't understand what you're trying to convey. Next slide, please. Okay, there are three types of supporting examples. The first one is brief example, the second is extended examples, and the third is hypothetical example. What is the difference of brief, extended, and hypothetical? The first one is brief example. Brief example is a specific case referred to in a passing illustrate a point. So when you talk about something, for example, in this text is, you talk about the effect of technology in education, you can convey this text. Change in technology have made it possible for students to answer the questions more easier and faster. For example, using chatbots such as Mainstay provides students with immediate support and assistance outside classroom hours. These chatbots answer questions, remind students of deadlines, and guide them through learning process. So, in this brief example, you should add information, for example, the concrete or effect in change in technology in education. In this section, we are talking about AI. So here are the brief example. Next slide, Miss. Okay, the second is extended example. Extended example, it can be a story, a narrative, or anecdote to develop to illustrate a point. You should attach a story, narrative, or anecdote, adding sense of humor. For example, in this text is Vice President Gibran Rakabuming Raka should serve as motivation for those who are struggling in their studies. He graduated with an equivalent of 2.3 GPA, became major and then vice president. When you talk about motivation for students who are struggling in their studies, you can add this example with a story, narrative, or anecdote to illustrate a point. Next slide, Miss. Okay, the last one is hypothetical example. Hypothetical example is an example that describes an imaginary or fictitious situation. Have you ever heard about example? Imagine this, imagine you're in a room with a tiger, imagine you're being a president, imagine you're being something. Yeah, it's called hypothetical example. For example, in this text is imagine being a high school student in West Java, where graduation, farewell, and driving to school are not allowed by the governor. Why we should use hypothetical example? With this example, we can understand the point of view. We can more understand the point of view of the student in high school West Java. And you understand the situation, you understand his point of view about being a student, something like that. Next slide, please. Okay, the next is statistic. The supporting your ideas, you can use statistics in your speech. Statistic is a numerical data. For example, in this text is Ministry of Education and Culture data shows that the number of damaged classrooms in Indonesian public schools has increased. In the 2021 and 2022 school year, around 60.60% of elementary school classrooms experienced minor or moderate damage, up 2.74% from the previous year. In total, there are 250,000 units of damaged classroom, an increase of 26% in the past year. When you talk about something, or you can show the data with statistic, you can attach the number, you can attach the year, you can add the percent for supporting your ideas more specifically. Next slide, Miss. Okay, there are tips in using statistics. The first one is use statistics to quantify your ideas, because the statistic is about numeric or number. Using statistic to more expose your data. The second is identify the sources of your statistics. You should identify the sources because is it hoax or credible? You should find the credible data to support your ideas, and before you add it into your speech, you should check is it credible enough or is it trustable enough for your data. Next is explain your statistics. When you attach the statistics in your speech, you cannot just display the picture of diagram or the number, the statistic, but explain your statistic. And next is round of complicated statistics. You should try to extend your statistic, like a year, a number, where did you get it, and why can be that number, how can be the number attached in your data. And the last one, make sure your statistics are representative. And the last is be aware of possible bias in the use of numbers, because the data is a number, there are many mistakes. We cannot avoid the mistakes sometimes, but at the second tips is you should identify the sources. You can find the credible data of your statistic. Okay, next point will be presented by my partner, Miss Zahra. Time is yours.
Thank you. Now I will explain about testimony. Testimony is a quote from expert or peers that lend authority or personal perspective to the message. Or we can say testimony is a formal or personal statement that supports a fact or opinions. It's an effective tool for building credibility and an emotional connection with your audience. By quoting or paraphrasing such people, you can give your ideas greater strength and impact. There are two kinds of testimony. The first one is expert testimony. It's come from people who are recognized authorities in their field, like doctor, teachers, or professor, and the expert must have the necessary knowledge, skills, experience, or training in the relevant field. For example, a doctor might serve as an expert witness in a medical malpractice case, providing testimony on a medical standard, question and the extent of injuries. And the second is peer testimony. It comes from ordinary people with personal experience, provides a personal perspective or experience to support a point or argument. For example, a neighbor describing a recent neighborhood incident, or a parent sharing their experience with a particular parenting approach. Maybe in our daily life, we can see peer testimony like from Google review, or maybe Shopee review, or another review, or maybe we can see from the influencer that we can also see in TikTok or maybe in Instagram. They are review about a product that endorse. Why we use testimony? Because testimony can make your speech more persuasive and shows that knowledgeable or experienced people support your ideas. Okay. Now I will. It's about quoting versus paraphrasing. You can mix both technique in your speech, in quoting or paraphrasing. Quote is short, strong statement directly and paraphrase the rest to keep things following smoothly. I will explain about the quoting. It is using exact words. A quote is an exact copy of what someone else has said or written, ensuring no changes are made to the original wording. Types of quoting, it's short and powerful. The person said it better than you could. For example, according to according to Shakespeare, to be or not to be, that is the question. And paraphrasing is using your own words to state something written or spoken in different words, especially in a shorter and simpler form to make a meaning clearer. The reason why we can the reason why we use paraphrasing is the original wording is confusing or awkward, or maybe the quote is too long, like more than 2 or 3 sentences. For example, Smith 2020 argues that the impact of social media on mental health is complex issues that requires further research. And tips for using testimony. The first, quote or paraphrase accurately. Make sure that you do not misquote someone, or you make sure you do not violate the meaning of statement you paraphrase, because quoting or out of context can have serious consequences. Change the meaning, that not just misleading, it's manipulation. And the second is use testimony from a qualified sources, because not all famous people are expert. Use people with real knowledge or relevant experience. If you are using a peer or non-expert people, make sure they have first-hand experience of the subject. And the third is use testimony from an unbiased source. Quoting or referencing individuals or organization that consider neutral, credible, and not personal interest. If someone profits or benefits from a point of view, they might not be objective. And the last is identify the people you quote or paraphrase. Always say who the person is and why they matter before sharing their words. If you use another person's words or ideas without giving credit to the person, you will be guilty of plagiarism. This is true whether you paraphrase the source of quote. And the next, it's about citing sources orally. Oral citation are used in speeches or presentation to give credit to source of information. Why they matter? Because the audience want to know where your info comes from, and the credible sources means credible speakers, and it's about giving enough context so your listener trusts what you are saying. Okay, unlike written bibliography, oral source citation do not follow a standard format like APA or maybe MLA. What you include depends on your topics, your audience, the kind of supporting materials you are using, and the claim you are making. The key is to tell your audience enough that they will know when you got your information and why they should accept it is qualified and credible. And this is some you can identify some combination for your citing sources. The first is from the book, magazine, newspaper, or web document. And the second is the author or sponsoring organization of the comment. And the third is the author's qualification with regard to the topic. And the last is the date on which the document was published, post, or update. Maybe sometimes when we use oral as oral citation, we can make some mistake like maybe from internet, like according to the internet, or according to the blog or according to the ebook, we don't need to say that. This is the example of oral citations. Example of full oral citation. The first is according to Dr. Lisa Brown, a climate scientist at the University of Washington, in a 2023 article published in Scientific American. Global temperatures have increased by more than 1 degree Celsius since pre-industrial times. And another example that is more simplified for speech. The World Health Organization in 2024 report on global health trends state that heart disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide. You don't need to include full bibliographic details like in written citation, but you do need to clearly signal the source's credibility and relevance. This is tips for creating your own oral citation. First is you need to say who the source is, like name, organization, and mention where the info comes from, like book, website, or journal. And the third, you must include when it was published if relevant. And the last is keep it brief but clear, just enough for the audience to trust your info. This helps the audience evaluate the credibility and relevance of your information. Last is about summary. A speech with the supporting material is less effective. Various types of supporting material such as statistic, examples, testimony, and others help clarify, support arguments, and engage the audience. Using diverse and credible sources in the speech increase the impact and credibility. That's enough from our group. It's time for Q&A. We already collect the question from the group. The first question. Okay, wait. I will check it. The first one is from Putri Ngawirabaya. The question is, what role do personal stories or anecdotes play in strengthening a message during public speaking? Okay, I will answer the question from Miss Putri. Personal stories or anecdotes playing a significant role in strengthening a message during public speaking. Because they can impact your speech. The first is building connection with the audience, emotional connection, or maybe relatability. Like personal stories can create an emotional connection with the audience, making them more invested in your message. And the audience can relate to personal experience, making your message more accessible and understandable. And besides that, by personal stories or anecdotes, the audience can imaging or illustration the key. Like concentrate example, personal stories provide concentrate example that illustrate key points, make your message more memorable. And maybe the next question will be answered by Mr. Liga.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zahano. The second question is from Mr. Harris. How the implementation of scientific approach could improve student speaking achievement? Okay, this is a little bit out of context, but I will try to answer the questions from Mr. Hanis. The implementation of a scientific approach can significantly improve student speaking achievement by making learning more structured and evidence-based and reflective. By following the scientific method like observe, hypothesize, and test and analyze, and it becomes more aware of their speaking strengths and areas for improvement, leading to measurable and lasting progress. And students have evidence-based because in scientific approach, students can observe effective speakers like videos, peers, or teachers and analyze elements like tone, clarity, gestures, and structures. This helps the students to identify what makes a speech stronger. Okay, the third question is from Mr. Han. Mr. Han, how can speakers address potential counter-arguments and strengthen their position when supporting their ideas? Okay, how can we prepare for counter-argument? The first is we should more convincing when we try to speak, and we should build the credibility. We should more understand the ideas, and we should use strong reasoning, like highlight the weakness in the topic or explain the positive topics. For example, when you talk about the limitation school uniforms in school, maybe student can argue that we can express our statement like in fashion, but we can counter like in school you should follow the rules, or it can be building the discipline. It's not about the fashion, but it's about study. You can answer like that if there is a counter from students. Okay, the next question is from Miss Sofiatul Ilma. Why are statistics considered strong supporting tools, and how can they be presented effectively? Okay, statistics are considered strong supporting tools because they provide objective, measurable evidence that can make an argument more credible and convincing. To present statistics effectively, like I mentioned before, we use reliable sources and cite credible institutions, make it relatable, put the number, and explain the meaning, and use visual aids like graphic, charts, or infographic. It helps make the statistic clearer and more memorable. The last questions will answered by my partner, Ms. Zahra.
Okay, thank you. And the last question is from Ms. Fitri Maulidia. The question is, how can you effectively present evidence to support your arguments during a public presentation? There are several keys that you can how you can. There are several keys that you can use for effectively present evidence to support your arguments. The first is about preparations. You can research and gather credible sources and organize your evidence, and then presentation techniques. In the presentation technique, you can make your you can make to support your arguments, you can make it clearly state your argument, provide context and present evidence, and then give a visual aids, like use clear and concise labels, and then select a relevant image, like choose image that support your argument and are relevant to your evidence, and then use charts or maybe graphic utilize charts and graphics to present complex data in a clear and concise manner. And then deliver it with confidently, present your, and then make eye contact. And you can engage with your audience by making eye contact. And the last is best practice. You can use credible sources, avoid cherry picking data, and be transparent with your data. And clear, disclose any limitation or potential bias in your evidence. That's from our group. Maybe from Ma'am Penny can.
Okay, thank you very much, presenters, for the presentation. I
Yes.
have made some points. Wait, I type it in my phone. Okay, so I won't forget. Okay, thank you very much. The presentation is good enough. Is just there are some points that I have made. First of all, for some slides, the slides are too long. So as I mentioned in the first meeting, 5 lines are the maximum. So it is too wordy, because if it is too wordy, your eyes are only focused on your slides. You won't engage with your audience because you keep reading the slides. For example, if you're doing a real presentation in front of a lot of people, for example, when your eyes only reading the slides, you won't engage with your audience. So if it is too long, you should cut into 2 slides or just make some points, and then later on you give some explanations. So that's the first note. And then the second one, not only to the presenters, but for all of us, please watch out your pronunciation. So make sure that you're sure with your pronunciation, like should, would, could. The L is not pronounced. You don't say should, would, could. L-nya tuh nggak ada. L is not there. Nggak dibaca. And then like hypo, not hippo, hypo. And then identify, not identify, identify. And then when you say change, ada i-nya di situ, bukan ceng, tapi change, bukan ceng ya, change, ada i-nya. And then answer, you don't pronounce the wah, w-nya nggak dibaca, answer, bukan answer, there is no wah there. Lalu tadi misalnya concise, bukan consist or something. Tadi misalnya model-model pelafalan seperti itu, Bapak Ibu, that's very crucial. Karena orang nanti bisa jadi kurang paham kita mau ngomong apa gitu. And then there are some slides also that actually you can elaborate more and give examples, each of them. For example, tadi ada slides tips in using statistics misalnya. Atau tadi apa lagi ya, pokoknya ada beberapa slides itu, saya nggak catat semua karena saya dengerin sambil nyatet. There are some points that kita bisa ularkan lebih panjang lagi. For example, if you want to provide statistics, when you're presenting a useful teaching language method, you can provide some statistics of successful data when employing this method. So you can persuade your audience to use the method. Jadi relate, contoh yang diberikan itu relate dengan our background. Karena kita kan ceritanya from English education. Jadi kita bisa berikan contoh-contoh yang relate dengan audience yang ada yang saat ini mendengar. Gitu. Jadi kita bisa berikan contoh tadi, misalnya yang saya contohkan, ketika kita mau memberikan contoh tentang a useful teaching language method, you can provide some statistics of successful data when you employ this method. Orang yang mendengar dari jurusan bahasa akan lebih nyambung dengan contoh ini dibandingkan contohnya terlalu umum gitu. Karena kita ngomongnya scientific purposes ya. Jadi ini bukan topik yang umum buat semua orang di lapangan gitu. Ini ada audiensnya khusus gitu. Kemudian many slides also that both presenters only read the slide and didn't give detailed explanation about the information. So ini juga seperti tadi ya, because by only reading you didn't engage with your audience karena kita sudah fokus sama membaca terus gitu. Jadi kalau hanya membaca nanti jadinya audiensnya kurang mendapatkan apa ya, kurang merasa ikut serta dalam presentasi itu gitu, didn't engage. So itu catatan secara umum. So kita bicara sekarang tentang materials yang bisa kita ambil. Efektif seperti dikatakan oleh grup tadi, effective academic speeches aren't built in empty words or empty statements. So this require solid evidence. Solid evidence-nya ini bisa dari beberapa cara. For example, tadi misalnya kalau saya memberikan contoh begini. Bapak Ibu, did you know that listening to classical music while studying can improve your concentration, can boost your memory? I highly recommend you to do this because I have been listening to classical music, Mozart, misalnya, Mozart while studying, and I have noticed a huge difference in my focus. For example, saya misalnya ngomong kayak gitu. Mungkin audiens yang mendengar, kalau hanya mendengar seperti itu, bisa unconvinced because I'm not a doctor, because I am not a science, I'm not an expert of this, gitu. Ini kan hanya testimoni aja melalui saya saja, gitu. Jadi harusnya kita lebih membackup, misalnya based on this study, in this journal, in this blah blah blah. Jadi kita sebutkan daripada hanya bilang I have been trying to listen to Mozart for few months and then my concentration, there is a huge difference in my focus on how I'm concentrate on things, misalnya gitu. Orang akan jauh lebih yakin daripada hanya sekedar testimoni gitu. This is also answering the question number 1. So you may provide some personal stories or anecdotes. However, this effect will not strong enough unless you're giving a personal story relating to your academic background. Jadi bisa kasih testimoni, bisa kasih jokes, tapi untuk meyakinkan secara, karena kita ngomongnya ini bicara untuk scientific purpose, bukan sekedar ngomong umum aja, ini tidak akan memberikan efek yang cukup baik unless you are the expert of this background. Kecuali kalau memang kita akademik kita mendukung, memang kita fokusnya konsentrasinya di situ gitu. Jadi itu bisa. Tapi kalau hanya sekedar testimoni, like tadi saya contohkan, personal stories won't give too much effect lah, nggak akan terlalu banyak efeknya. Supporting materials also can be obtained from examples. Tadi sudah diberikan contoh oleh grupnya. Examples are specific instances or it is used to illustrate ya, tadi kayaknya ada yang ngomong bukan illustrate, saya lupa bacanya apa gitu, to support argument. Misalnya for instance, many English as a foreign language students struggle with pronunciation, particularly with the consonant sound. For example, of dan sounds misalnya. Kemudian, for example, one of my students from my class struggle to differentiate between dan and misalnya. So after working on specific listening and speaking exercises, her pronunciation significantly improved, which is similar to the study conducted by blah 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 in 2000 blah blah blah, where 70% of learners improve their pronunciation after consistent practice. Misalnya ada contoh seperti itu. Nah, itu contoh yang akan lebih relate. Karena saya saat ini bicara dengan Bapak Ibu yang memang background-nya adalah English education. Jadi saya berikan sampel-sampel juga for EFL students misalnya. Dan terkait dengan pronunciation of dengan yang otomatis akan nyambung contohnya dibandingkan saya memberikan sampel terkait dengan farmasi atau obat atau bidang-bidang lain yang nggak nyambung dengan audiens saat ini. Gitu. Itu example yang juga memberikan by research gitu. A study conducted by blah 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 in 2000 blah blah blah, kemudian sebutkan apa hasilnya yang mendukung argumen kita. So this is also answering the question number 2. So if you want to achieve some effect to your audience, use scientific approach, to back up the argument. And then statistics. This is also answering question number 4. Tadi ada yang nanya, kalau nggak salah number 4. Statistics provide quantitative evidence, supports your claims, of course, and helps to build your credibility of your argument, of course. Jadi dengan menggunakan statistik, argumen kita itu akan well built, akan terbangun. So you can say research from British Council shows that blah 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 percent of EFL students report significant improvement misalnya in their writing skills after engaging in weekly blah 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 blah. Jadi kita sebutkan tadi seperti tadi statistiknya dari mana dan kredibilitas sumbernya yang baik. So the data highlights the importance of the argument gitu. Jadi memberikan oh ya argumennya benar ya gitu. Ini dari British Council, kayak kalau orang dari jurusan ini pasti setidaknya pernah dengar British Council gitu. Daripada kita menyebutkan contoh-contoh yang tidak terlalu jelas misalnya. Kemudian gathering materials from testimony. Testimony refers to words or opinions, but make sure that you use it from experts or experienced individuals. Karena testimoni itu sebenarnya kalau di dunia medis adalah selemah-lemahnya bukti. Dokter saya pernah ngomong begitu soalnya. Testimoni itu adalah selemah-lemahnya bukti. Except it is come from the experts. Kecuali yang itu datangnya testimoninya dari experts. So, tadi kan ada contoh peer testimoni atau expert testimoni kalau nggak salah tadi di slides-nya. Nah itu, make sure it comes from experienced individuals or experts. Jadi pastikan itu. Misalnya, as Dr. Brown atau Richard atau Douglas Brown, kalau orang bahasa Inggris kayaknya nggak ada yang nggak tahu Douglas Brown. Kalau nggak tahu berarti perlu baca lebih banyak literaturnya. Douglas Brown, a leading linguist misalnya, in TESOL, stated in his lecture in 2000 blah 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 misalnya, the key to successful language acquisition is lies in blah 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 gitu. Jadi ini testimoni, tapi yang kasih testimoni itu Douglas Brown. Jadi orang oh ya oke. Tapi kalau kita sebut orang yang nggak terkenal, tetangga saya kemarin bilang misalnya, ya nggak cocok itu testimoninya gitu. And then citing sources orally. Citing sources during a speech is crucial to build the credibility of your argument. So, for example, according to 2000 blah 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 misalnya, a study published by Journal of Applied Linguistics, sebutkan nama jurnalnya yang terkenal, kemudian apa yang dikatakan learners who are exposed to language environments performs better, misalnya, on language proficiency, misalnya seperti itu. You can find the full study in the Journal of Applied Linguistics, volume 42, misalnya. I provided in my reference in the latest page, misalnya. Bisa bilang seperti itu. Data selengkapnya ada di referensi. Gitu. Kita jadi nggak perlu ngapalin sampai halamannya, tapi kita bisa bilang nanti kita sesuaikan, kita berikan datanya. Itu mungkin 4 types of supporting materials. Lalu kemudian question number 3 is interesting. Bagaimana untuk mengaddress potential counter arguments. Oke, yang untuk ini adalah hal yang unavoidable. So, one and only answer is anticipating. Anticipating the counter arguments. Ini adalah satu-satunya cara untuk mempersiapkan diri kita kalau ada yang nggak setuju dengan kita. Anticipating. What if? You should think that first before you do the presentation. Nanti kalau orang nggak setuju gimana ya? Nanti kalau ada yang bilang begini bagaimana ya? Nanti ada what if. So, a good speaker anticipates the possible objections or the alternative viewpoints from the audience. Kita harus antisipasi nanti ada yang nggak setuju atau punya, kalau menurut saya kayaknya nggak gitu. Misalnya ada yang bilang gitu. So, you should present the counter arguments, you should treat it with respect, of course, and then provide a strong argument, solid or credible evidence to disapprove politely the arguments, the counter arguments. Gitu. Jadi kita harus menghormati perbedaan itu, dan tapi kemudian kita harus juga menyediakan solid and credible evidence. Misalnya, some may argue that traditional grammar drills are necessary for mastering English. Misalnya ada yang bilang begitu. Kita kita ceritanya ngomongin tentang the difference between traditional and modern grammar teaching misalnya. Traditional grammar itu kan masih tak 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 grammarnya tuh masih plak 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 ini plus ini plus ini plus ini gitu kan. Kalau modern kan dijadikan satu dengan lesson pembelajarannya gitu. Tapi nanti bisa aja kita harus what if one of my audience is uh, they don't agree with me, kemudian dia bilang tetap itu penting, gimana? Jadi kita sudah antisipasi dengan bilang some may argue. Jadi kita udah kira-kira nih, jangan-jangan ada yang bakal setuju yang kesini nih. Some may argue that traditional grammar drills are necessary for mastering English. However, misalnya, studies by Richards or by sertakan yang memang orang sudah expert shown that when integrated with communicative tasks, misalnya, grammar instruction can be more effective in promoting fluency, for example. Jadi kita mengakui ada pendapat yang berbeda, tapi kita juga sediakan dengan sopan, dengan baik bahwa ada yang klaim yang seperti ini dan ini dari expert dan ini studinya dari sini. Gitu. Atau some might claim that standardized tests are the best to measure of language proficiency, kayak TOEFL misalnya. TOEFL itu kan di mana-mana ada diminta gitu ya. However, misalnya, this view is often limited by the fact that TOEFL tests or such tests do not account for communication skills in real-life context. Study by Douglas Brown, our well-known a prominent linguist in the TESOL Journal, misalnya, kita bisa sertakan itu. Show atau reveal that bla 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 bla. Gitu. Jadi kita bisa bilang memang ini masih digunakan, tetapi jadi memang yang tidak ada hal lain, jawabannya adalah anticipating counter arguments. Jadi kita harus mengantisipasi bagaimana kalau nanti ada orang yang berbeda. Gitu. Jadi what if itu harus diterapkan sebelum kita menyampaikan materinya. Makanya good academic speaking itu tidak bisa hanya disiapkan dalam satu hari satu malam. Harus banyak yang harus diperhatikan. Dari mulai tadi misalnya slides-nya, apakah sudah presentable? Apakah kepanjangan satu slide itu isinya sampai satu paragraf panjang banget? Jadi orang nanti jadinya reading, bukannya mendengarkan, jadi malah kayak sesi membaca. Atau kemudian pronunciation-nya ketika sudah slides-nya sudah disusun, misalnya sudah bagus slides-nya, bagaimana sekarang kita mempresentasikannya? Apakah pelafalannya sudah akurat? Pronunciation-nya? Gitu. Don't take anything for granted. Jangan merasa kita sudah oke, karena yang merasa sudah oke itu yang biasanya jadi menjatuhkan, karena kita sudah yakin ternyata salah. Gitu. Jadi sering dengarkan sekarang sudah canggih Bapak Ibu, nggak kayak saya dulu zaman dulu kan. Kalau saya zaman dulu kan masih lihat kamus tebel-tebel, cara bacanya gimana gitu, dibuka itu sampai masih beli kamusnya beberapa kali kan, udah jebol tuh kamus, dibuka lagi cara bacanya. Kalau sekarang kan tinggal ketik di AI, kemudian yang AI khusus membaca bisa, kemudian coba pronounce ini with misalnya good English atau good pronunciation, bla 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 bla. Gitu. Nah, kemudian Bapak Ibu bisa cut dan kemudian ngulang lagi. Jadi bisa berlatih pelafalan. Kan pelafalan itu penting karena orang nanti bisa nggak tahu kita ngomong apa. Gitu. And then itu juga tadi engage with your audience, karena provide the elaborate the text with your audience. Jadi kasih contoh-contoh yang related to your audience. Tadi kurang dikasihnya. Maksud saya misalnya kayak barusan yang saya berikan contoh, pengajaran bahasa Inggris menggunakan ini ternyata begini gitu. Jadi karena kan kita kebetulan memang backgroundnya English education, jadi bisa berikan contoh-contoh yang terkait itu. Dibandingkan kita memberikan contoh secara umum yang orang jadi belum terasa, oh apa sih gitu, masih belum terasa nyambung gitu. Mungkin itu dari saya. Thank you. Ada pertanyaan sebelum kita selesai? Oh ya, saya lupa. Minggu depan itu pelajaran pertemuan 7 ya, Bapak Ibu. If I'm not mistaken, saya takut lupa.
Yeah, that's right.
Oke, 7 itu harusnya luring ya, Bapak Ibu.
Betul, dokter.
7 itu luring. Oke, saya coba upayakan bisa datang, mudah-mudahan bisa datang. Berarti kalau kita luring, yang presentasi harus siap dengan laptop, harus siap dengan peralatannya ya, gitu. Dan make sure dari awal ruangan itu tidak kuning ininya. Kadang-kadang gitu tuh, Bapak Ibu, saya malas bawa laptop tuh ke kelas karena proyektornya itu lampunya kuning gitu. Jadi the screen is not clear. So ya itu kalau bisa mulai dari pagi mungkin yang kebagian kira-kira mau presentasi pada hari itu bisa bersama-sama mengupayakan gitu. Itu mungkin ya. Kalau untuk UTS karena ini speaking yang sudah saya berikan di awal itu ada membuat video yang sudah saya berikan di WhatsApp group.
Yes, siap, Dok.
Kemudian nanti dikumpulkan. Saya sih prefer dikumpulkannya nanti bukan di LMS Bapak Ibu, karena LMS itu kadang-kadang suka down. Itu pusing saya kalau down. Nanti saya di Google Classroom aja. Saya belum pernah mengalami Google Classroom down, tapi kalau LMS sering. Jadi rusak, repot deh kalau down gitu ya. Jadi nanti saya akan berikan itu mungkin saya akan buat dari sekarang. Bapak Ibu boleh mulai mengumpulkan. Pokoknya deadline-nya adalah official date for academic speaking. Kalau nggak salah, kalau di jadwal itu hari Jumatnya. Saya lupa tanggal berapa, tapi if I'm not mistaken,
May
Jumat.
23. Ya, May
Ya.
22.
Ya, itu. Jadi deadline-nya itulah. Kalau mengumpulkan sebelum itu ya bagus, tapi kalau deadline-nya jangan lewat dari itu Bapak Ibu. Mungkin itu ya. Ada lagi yang mau ditanyakan atau dibahas terkait ini sebelum kita selesai hari ini?
One more thing, Doc.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just about my experience, Doc, when talking about counter argument. Yeah, at that time, I was very surprised that the audience stood up and say something totally different. Then at that time, I was not that brave enough to counter back. Yeah, since his his argument is very strong. Yeah, and the conditions getting awkward. Yeah, it's that atmosphere didn't support me. So what should I do in that condition, Doctor?
If you are not ready with the argument and you also felt that way that the argument was strong enough, ini kayaknya similar to the last 2 meetings, 2 minggu lalu kalau nggak salah, saya lupa, ingatan saya nggak terlalu baik. The point atau kita bisa mengatakan the argument is interesting, you have a very good standpoint, I'll see what I can do later on. I will check it, blah 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 blah, and I'll get back to you later on. Kita bisa ngomong begitu supaya memang yang penting adalah we cannot pretend that we know everything. Itu tidak boleh. Kalau memang nggak tahu, ya just say, okay, that's very interesting of yours, the opinion and the argument. To be honest, I'm not really sure about it. Let me check it first, and then I'll go back to you later on. I'll contact you, I'll follow up with the misalnya next gitu information. Jadi jangan you cannot defend yourself based on emotion. Itu yang that's not good, because your argument will be very weak. And you're not gonna get anything by doing that. Gitu mungkin Bapak Ibu.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
You're welcome. Ada lagi Bapak Ibu? Sudah kenyang kah? Apa sudah lapar? It's time for your lunch. Oke, kalau hari ini sudah selesai, thank you very much for today. Insya Allah minggu depan mungkin kita bisa bertemu. Saya coba I'll do my best kita bertemu untuk pertemuan ke-7. I'll see you in class. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk semuanya. Take care. Stay healthy Bapak Ibu.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ma'am
Thank you so
Fanny.
much, Doctor.
Have a nice day.